Alright guys, welcome. First and foremost, we're going to be using the gradient mesh tool, or the mesh tool, to replicate this bowling ball. The gradient mesh tool is really nice for times we want to recreate a 3D object in vector and we can't really image trace an object. We're going to start with this bowling ball here. First and foremost, we're going to need the navigator window up and the layers window up. You can go there, you can do that by going to Window, Layers, and Window Navigator, and those will pop up. We're going to have our bowling ball in layer 1, and we're going to create a new layer on top of that. If we select layer 1, double click on the image, alright, we want template to be checked. If I uncheck template, the ball can be moved around, but if I check template, the ball will be locked in place. Okay? Next, we're going to go to our ellipse tool or any other tool that we can create. Make sure we're on layer 2. And we're going to create an outline of our bowling ball shape. Alright, it's important to make sure we get it near perfect as possible. Alright, that's good enough for what we need. Alright, you see that this is an outline even though there's a fill color. Command Y will give you outline mode. I want to see what's underneath. Alright. Next, we're going to go to our mesh tool. Alright. Mesh tool, we're going to create a mesh. So if we click here in the middle, that'll split our object in half, and then we're going to start clicking around the border, and as you see, as we go around the border, it's going to flex this mesh with the different, to create this 3D object with the different curves of our object. The more detailed your object, the more mesh you might want. Alright, another one here, that's good. Now if we start clicking on any of these vertical lines, it'll start to wrap around the object going the other way. Alright, so now you can kind of see how our object, this flat shape that we created, we kind of see how it's almost a round object. Okay? The two main tools you're going to be using are the eyedropper tool and the direct selection tool. Alright, if I'm on the eyedropper tool, I can hover over any of these objects, hold command, and it's going to switch over every time I press command from the eyedropper tool to the direct selection tool. Alright? Over here in our navigation window, we're going to be able to see the different things that are happening. Alright, so if you watch closely over here, okay, as I select the area, what I like to do is select a couple of similar areas. So the bottom right, for example. And then you can use, oops, you got to hold shift when you select. So command shift will select multiple of these boxes. Got to look closely, but you can see, that these have been selected and these haven't. Okay. Once they're selected, I can then eyedrop the undercolor, and then it'll start gradiating that shape. So every portion of this, every crosshair of this will need to be selected at some point. So you can click, let go of command, suck up with the eyedropper. Hold command, click, suck it up. Click, suck it up. Click, suck it up. So what it's doing is it's eyedropping and collecting the color that's directly underneath that mesh and then gradiating it through the right, the Z, or the X, the Y, the Z axis of that intersection that's being created. Okay? What's nice about this is as I go around, I can look over here to the right and see, oh, I'm missing a section, and that's going to be near here. the more dots you have, the more detail, or the more cross members you have, the more detail you're going to get. All right. Some of these are just off the side a little bit. And we can keep going. So what this is doing right now, you can't really tell, but what this is doing right now is selecting the different areas. If I use this tool and select all of them first, and maybe give them not quite a black, all right, this could all be changed to black, and then if I did that first, I could have started and I could see the different changes over here a little bit easier. You see how over on the right it's sucking the color up? That's directly underneath it. The more you do, the better your image is going to be. Alright. You can see on the right that my bowling ball is starting to take shape. All I'm doing is selecting by holding Command. I'm selecting the area that I want to gradiate. I don't even know if that's a word. Alright, and then I'm sucking up the color below with the eyedropper. So my eyedropper is selected, but every time I hold Command, that eyedropper is going to suck it up. Alright? So you can kind of see my bowling ball start to take shape on the right. Eventually, if I get all these colors, if I get all these cross sections filled with the bowling ball or with the color underneath it, a bowling ball will appear. And then you got to create the circles of the holes. You can do those in black. And then I created a little bit wider circles underneath, and then used gradients to get that change in color. In here, there's the black to white to gray to white to black to white to gray. Relatively easy to do. All right, mess around with this tool. I want you guys to try to recreate a bowling ball. It's really easy. It's a little time consuming, but the finished product looks really cool. All right. Once you're done, let's say I'm done. Once you're done, you can take this layer, unclick it as a template. Okay, unclick that layer as a template. And I can drag the top layer or the bottom layer over to see what I've created. All right, and then press Command Y again, and this layer will show up. All right, so I'm not finished because I've got a whole, see all these highlights that still need to be done? But for the most part, you can see how I'm starting to create this 3D object based on the gradients. All right.